Okay, next item on agenda is construction project payable summary.
Okay.
We had one board member that wanted to discuss this tonight.
Again, for transparency, I think before we got an email saying it's going to go out on a website, which I don't think is the way we left it at the last meeting, first of all. I think there was a safe, take a look and let us know. And the second thing is, I think there's got to be a clear statement of why we're putting it out there, as I said before, so that people understand. I mean, Gary and Mike went to a lot of trouble to go, and some other people to go through a lot of records, and as far as I know, it's just additional detail to the report that was available and approved by the board. So, to me, you know, there's things that we need to put out on the website. In fact, I talked to Kevin this week. Our goals weren't even out there. Now we're going to put these 10,000 pages of documents, and I'd like somebody to explain what the purpose is, the expectation, and as far as I know, we aren't drawing any conclusions from it. We're just putting data out there.
Anybody want to speak on it? Gary, Mike?
Well, you brought this up for the last few meetings, and at the last meeting, I suggested we instruct the superintendent to post it, and that if anyone had any objections or concerns, to get them to Kevin by August 27th. He was going to post it on August 28th, and I just said, well, wait, and because no one responded, no one made any.
But I've asked the other thing before.
No one responded saying anything before August 27th, and then your email said to just hold it off till this board meeting. So that's what we've done.
First of all, we really can't respond because we'd probably be violating the Open Meetings Act if we're responding to something we post in between meetings. But again, Kevin, I guess I'll ask you. Please explain to the community what we're putting out and why, because it's not abundantly clear to me what the purpose is.
I'm going to have to take a neutral stand here in this, that I was asked by the board to provide those documents to 2 members of the board for them to scan and create a report for the board, and then I'm assuming for the community. So I think Mike or Gary would need to respond exactly on what the intent is.
I could offer you my opinion of why. I think, you know, some of our visitors have made a point that eventually we'll probably have to increase revenues. And when I was campaigning, whatever, a year and a half ago, a lot of people, to me, basically claimed they were upset about the $60 million and what happened to that money. So this is a way for us to build trust with the community. For anyone who wants to look through that, see where that money went, they can look at it to see that we're being completely open with how the money was spent. And before we have another referendum that's going to pass, we have to rebuild that trust. I just think it's a way to do that.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
But are we going to do that with every contract? And that we have posted on our website every meeting with the monies that were spent for the referendum. Every change order, those packets were posted on the website. Now you're going to go, it's out of context, all these little expenditures. We spend $1 million on our Airmark. That seems like a lot for janitorial services. Are we going to break it down every dollar and how they spend that money? Because that's what you want to do with how McHugh spent every dollar. Is that how we want to move forward so that we're transparent?
I don't think we're hiding anything. This is a $63 million, as I said before, this is a over $60 million expenditure, the biggest the school's ever had. They did not make up any of the information that they scanned and put together for this file. These are all hard facts of expenditures that was gone for this project.
Laura, this is an extraordinary situation. Like you said, it's $60 million that this district rarely spends. But are you saying that so those facts are out there, so what? Because they're not contextual to the casual observer. They see the McHugh billings, and they really need to have more information to have a meaningful read of the budget. Otherwise, it's just facts without any context. Is that what you're
Because
saying?
What I'm saying is that we put that information out in context in real time as it was happening over a period of 4 years.
Yeah.
We would come, we'd vote on it, and we had a packet of 20 pages on line by line what was being spent, on all the bids, and every vote that was taken. Every vote was taken the lowest bidder. At that point, if there was so when we bid on the sign $32,000, we don't say, how is every dollar to 32 going to be spent? And it was the compilation of all the things that went into the renovation. The renovation said we'd get new science labs, a new pool, heating, plumbing, electricity, and we have those things piece by piece over a period of 4 years.
And that includes engineering change orders?
Every change order had to be voted on in public and was posted every week.
Well, maybe someone wants to
So
see
we
a
have
summary
this.
item. You expect someone to like see a movie over 4 years to get the result instead of like looking at a picture. I'm not going to look at a movie, over 4 years when I can look at a picture. I mean, your analogy's wrong. It's not the same thing. It gives people the source of information. It's not hurting anybody. No one's requiring you to look at it. No one's requiring anybody to look at it. If you want to look at it, more power to you. I don't see what the harm is.
No, I just wanted to make sure that, I'm fine with the way, it's interesting that Mike and Gary were silent since they did it, which we asked, but I don't know if by their silence they're agreeing what you said.
Well, there's a
but
conspiracy here.
But I hope the board, if the board and Kevin
okay
is
with it.
understanding what yours is, I got no problems with that. It's
Remember,
just
we
that-
kept Kevin out of this thing and had the board members. That's the reason why Gary and Mike did this. 'Cause
And
we're
Laura,
gonna put them in.
I don't want to be critical of the former boards, when they ran this project, because there's a lot to be said for the fact that we, passed that referendum, but we cannot dismiss the, members of this community that aren't totally happy with how it happened. So we need to address that.
Well, I think the members that are totally not happy might be at this table, but I don't know what is the specific we're totally not happy, because we spend large sums of money all the time and we don't break it out all the, so it's this one, I'm unclear when we say members are unhappy. Who are these members?
Okay, the members are the 75% of the public that voted no on the referendum, whatever the number is. That's what
No.
I'm talking about.
Because the referendum for the building renovation was passed by a majority, an overwhelming majority.
Yeah, but my point is, that the next one isn't going to
Fail.
pass. Don't you see my logic? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the last one failed horribly because there's a mistrust.
The last one failed horribly for a couple of reasons, Sean. It's a spurious relationship. The economy had a downturn. People may have voted no, not because they didn't want to support it, but because they had no funds to support it. You don't have data to prove otherwise.
I can show a counterexample with other referendums passed in other communities.
But many referendums in this economy have failed, and we had our consultants here say this is not the economy to run a referendum because people were out of jobs, and whether they wanted to support it or not. You had some people vote no just because they were unemployed.
Okay, please tell me why it's going to hurt to post this. Can you tell me why? Because I don't see any reason why it's going to hurt. You're like want to withhold information from people is what you want to do. I can characterize that. I'm not telling you how you're thinking, but I can characterize your argument that way. You're
Well,
trying to hide stuff.
That information is already there in past packets.
If you want to watch a movie, I want to look at a picture.
But I don't think packets are posted prior, when you were on the board. Those packets aren't posted on a website. Those packets weren't posted on the website now. They didn't start getting posted on the website till after you were off the board.
How far do our packets go?
Well, you have the computer, you can look it up on the website. I'll repeat some of the comments I've said in the past. Your comment about contracts. I think we do post contracts on our website. So we do have contracts that we enter into with companies on our website. So when you made the comment that we don't post contracts, I believe we do. When I was running for election and I was going door to door, there was this tenor in the community about, well, why don't you take some of that $66 million and spend it towards the education? There was this there was a lack of knowledge in the community about what the building referendum and capital expenditures can be used for and what they can't.
Right.
So in order to educate the public, this would be one tool in helping them, because the people think you can take some of the 66 million and help fund the education fund, which you can't by law, I believe. And they want to know, where did all that money go? So I would like to say, well, if you'd like to know where all the money went, there's a little tool on the website where you can go and look and see where it went. I don't think I'm going to have to explain to them what it means, because you're right, it was all expenditures that the board approved. And this is the detail. Now, at a prior meeting, you asked, well, should we, or are we going to post every detail on every expenditure we make? Well, in a perfect world, we probably should. As a open government public body, we should probably. But realistically, can we do that? Do we have the staff to do that? Do we have the time and talent to do that? Maybe not. And so what we do is we post all the bills out there, but we don't post all the little receipts that are the backup for that, because we probably don't have time to pay people to do that. That's a decision the board has to make if we wanted to do that or not. So there was a raising of the hands that Tim wanted to see if anyone against not having the administration or the staff spend time or money or talent or whatever you want to categorize it as.
Time, treasure, and talent.
Well, trying to keep the church out of the state.
Sorry.
And, so I volunteered to scan the documents and make them into PDF formats so that the public, when we post this on the website, can have a look at what the construction project is, who did we pay, and what documentation is out there to support it. There were some other items I said in support of doing this type of project. And, as we go 9 months later, I don't really hear any specific reason why the board shouldn't direct the superintendent to go ahead and publish it tomorrow.
I'm having a difficult time seeing a conflict here. I believe everything you said, Laura, is correct. There was a month-to-month posting of the expenditures. And I think Mike cited after you had left, but that's transparency. But what Mike is talking about is a summary of everything that was posted from month to month. That's valuable to somebody like me who's not really a financial person, but I like to see in gobs, what this total thing cost. So I think it's a summary of everything that you were talking about, and I see this as a great idea.
Any other comments?
And then going back,
I don't see a conflict here.
Prior board members had told that it was the board's intention when they did the construction referendum to show the community how well they spent the money and come back with an operating referendum sometime thereafter. Well, they didn't come back with an operating referendum, and I may have been on the board during that period of time when they didn't come back with a referendum. They also told the community that if we did working cash bonds of the $5 million or $4.9 million or whatever that figure is, that we would come back with a 20-cent referendum. And what we had 2 years ago, the vote was on a 44-cent referendum after the working cash bonds were taken. So I believe if we show the community everything we have and what we're doing, like we did in this budget hearing, the community will see if we're doing our jobs.
Right.
And moving forward towards a future referendum, we need to rebuild that education with the community, the voters who are going to vote to say, yes, we'll give District 208 more money, or no, we won't. It was a big amount against the referendum and a small amount for. And if you want to tip those scales into getting more, then you need to do as much as you can to educate the public and show the public what we're doing, and make it all available and easy on the website. Now, we're going into this period of time where the public's going to then look at what we do with this next big future expenditure, and that's going to play into future revenues. And if you combine all that, this is just one little item that is going to be put out there that the people are saying, well, what'd you do? You know, where'd it go? Well, here it is. Here it went. You know, you can see from the outside there's certain facilities, but we also, you know, don't have a lot of long-range plan items in place here, you know. Like, how are we going to replace the football field if we, in fact, call it a football field, or is it actually a place for gym class? Or is it a dual-purpose field? Whatever that field is, it has a certain life. You know, what year did we put it in? 2006. How long is its useful life?
15 years.
6, 8, 10, 12 years. When its useful life is over, how are we going to pay to replace it or fix it? And you can do that with every component in this building. You know, the roofs, the foundations, the air conditioners, the boilers, the fan above the pool, whatever it is. You know,
talk about that.
we need to look towards the future and, you know, how much does it cost to maintain these type of items, and how much is it going to cost to replace these kind of items, and when will those items be up for replacement, and how are we going to pay for it? That's something in the long run. And if there's questions about how stuff was in those areas, well, it'd be easy if it's on the website to go get an access to it, rather than go up to some room on the second floor where all the documents are locked up in, and having the staff pull them out to try to figure out what we're going to do in the future. So, in my opinion, it's part of just putting stuff out there and preparing for the future in the long range of increasing revenues potentially, planning for capital, and all the things that the board needs to do. And again, at the last meeting, I suggested that the board instruct the superintendent to post it, and if anyone had any concerns, that they call Kcen or get those concerns to Kcen. And Kcen reported back in his weekly update before the Labor Day holiday, if I'm not mistaken, that no one had forwarded any concerns. So I guess at this point, I would ask if there's a majority of the board that we instruct the superintendent to go ahead and post this construction documentation. I think it's all ready to go. You know, I made sure Kcen didn't post it. You know, I wanted to give it some extra time, and then Tim sent the email over the weekend and asked that we not do it before this meeting.
Is that a motion?
No, well, let's
I don't think we necessarily need to
do a
discussion.
motion. So how many people, how many board members do not want us to post on the website? Just
I
one?
never had a problem with posting it. I want to make sure people understand the context.
All right,
I want to make
seeing
sure
one-
the board wasn't saying they found some problem. And I'm hearing nobody saying that.
Tim, I haven't heard your opinion.
Well, I haven't
I
reviewed.
said from the
I haven't
beginning, as
reviewed
long
the-
as our current administration and staff did not spend their time looking at figures that are 4, 5, 6 years old, and people want it out there, I have no problems with that.
Okay.
But I also wanted to make sure it was clear, are we making some kind of statement about we found, that, as you said, it doesn't address so many issues, like it doesn't help somebody who doesn't understand why you can't use those funds for education.
Right.
So the high level, the kind of PowerPoint you give, it's not there. It doesn't address the conspiracy theorist issues of whether we, you know, I don't know what we did. You hear all kinds of things, what we did with the money. So, because I said from the beginning, we've told people we're going to have a pool, a field house, a football field, labs, whatever else we have, and guess what? They're all there when I walk around the building. I find them all. So I have no problems putting out, and I'm hearing from the people who are interested, they're not saying they found any problems or anything. It's just they gathered data, and it's being made available to the community, and I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I didn't analyze any of the approximately 20,000 pages.
You did
But you
run
know,
it through
we do
computer.
have capital issues around here that we're going to need to address, like
Yeah, absolutely.
the Paul can probably name it one or two of them, so.
All right, so seeing that there's only one objection to it, then I think, Kevin, you can post it tomorrow morning then on the website.
Okay.
All right, and that will be, in the website, will that be highlighted as, where will we find that at?
We're going to, I believe what Mike, we talked about the last time, it's going to go under the board page. You know, it's the construction payable summary. And
Okay.
there'll be a link that they can click on, and then each check or payable is able to click on for you to see a copy of the PDF document that aligns with that expenditure.
Should we put something on there like, thank you to board members Welch and Kcen for compiling this?
They don't want the thing.
We can do that later. That's.
You can buy Mike a new computer from scanning.